I swear you're one of my best friends right now.
First of all, I want to say welcome back to another episode of Soundbites. Big shout out to everyone who watched the last video with Jess Can Eat. That was an amazing first episode. Right now I'm downtown Ottawa and I'm about to meet another Ottawa foodie influencer by the name of Jordan Pizzuti, I think it's pronounced. We'll find out. I'm meeting him at one of his favorite spots called Giulia. There's 2 locations in Ottawa. And we're going to the downtown Elgin location. So let's find out what's cooking. Oh man, how good's this weather?
This is amazing. So you said that this was an old ice cream building.
Yes, it was a gelato shop. And you know, they bought up the building, they exposed all of like the walls and the ceilings back to like what it originally was. And now it's just like this awesome coastal Italian, kind of like small plates and pizzas is the best way I can describe it. So like Italian food, really simple, but elevated, good ingredients, like well done. So like some of the stuff that I want you to try today is the simplest of the simple on the menu, but in my opinion, it's the most delicious. You know what I mean?
That's what Italian food is, man. The simpler you get, the better it is.
100%.
Wow.
And like I grew up Italian, so I tend to not eat out Italian very much. But I feel very at home here.
I grew up Italian too.
Yeah.
Sicilian, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
One side Sicilian.
Yeah.
My dad's side is Molise, so like northern central.
Amazing.
Near like Rome, Napoli, like kind of in between the two. But yeah, this is definitely more like Sicilian style. Those like stemless wine glasses.
I'm home.
Yeah. Yeah. They do everything in there. They bake their bread in there, like all the pizzas, obviously. But so this location is very unique because they don't really have like a range. So you'll get like one pasta a day, maybe. Everything else is small plates and pizza. Solid, like just a super simple menu: red pies, white pies, small plates, pasta of the day, and a couple of desserts.
You said something the last time we talked. Eating food is an event.
Yeah.
It's not just
It's a form of entertainment.
Yeah, it's a form of entertainment.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same way that people can spend money on a show or a trip. You can enjoy those same experiences with food. Like the concept of spending like $300, $400, $500 sometimes on a meal seems like outlandish. But if it's a memory that you're building with somebody and that's something you can bond over, then it's worth that money. The same way that a show would be, or going to a sporting event would be.
Yeah.
Like it's all about what you value and what kind of experiences you can take from it. Like to watch a chef do something completely unique that you've never experienced before has value in and of itself, in my opinion anyways.
This is so cool. Like for me, it's always just like, let's eat. I don't know when my next meal is going to be.
I find people really start to appreciate good food when you really connect the difference between cost and value.
Okay.
Because, you know, something can be very expensive as far as cost goes, but if the value is equal to or greater than it, it doesn't matter. Sourdough, this is made in-house. Whipped cultured butter, also made in-house, whipped in-house. Little mold and salt for like texture, obviously salinity. And then these are the marinated white anchovies. So like a Sicilian anchovy is going to be that like small little guy that you find like packed tight in the jar that you normally have.
Yeah.
This is going to be meatier, a little brinier. Like it's just really, really, really cool stuff. Best way to do this, little butter on the bread, anchovy or two, and just get after it.
So a good dollop of butter.
A dollop of butter, a couple choves.
That is so freaking delicious. And the vinegar on the anchovies is so nice. And the anchovy is so delicate. Like, wow.
Simple, right? You have texture, like a little bit of like brightness from like sourdough bread, a whipped butter, that's going to be the fat, salt, and obviously that mold and salt gives you a little bit of the crunch too. And then the anchovies, like bright, acidic, so much flavor.
I actually like the crunch of the salt. It's a really cool thing. I would never really notice things like that.
One of the perks of going to like nicer restaurants is that you're not limited, at least from a drink perspective, to what the menu says a lot of the time, right? Like they're gonna put some stuff that really represents the brands. Like this one here, Bella Ciao, a really solid sour, something that I really enjoy. I'll tell you exactly what's in it. Tequila, Amaro, which brings that Italian back into it, a type of vermouth, orange, simple syrup, egg whites, right?
Egg whites.
Egg whites, yeah, that's what gives you the froth, yeah.
Egg whites and alcohol?
Egg white cocktails are like, that's how you get those nice, like a whiskey sour.
Oh, really?
Upper whiskey sour, egg white.
I had no idea.
Yeah, solid cocktail, but what's great about coming to a place like this, especially when you get to know people, is you can talk to the bartender and be like, what's something that you're toying around with, or something, like give them their creative
That's
freedom.
what this is.
Yeah, exactly. This is something that you're not going to see on the menu, so you can come here and depending on who's behind the bar, you're going to get a completely different drink every time. This one's by Madigan. Matt's another bartender here who, for me, made me my favorite cocktail of the year so far. Taking a classic, a pisco sour, something that a lot of people know about, and kind of flipping it on its head a little bit, spiking it with Amaro, using lime instead of lemon. Just made this like really light, fragrant, solid cocktail.
Sounds refreshing.
It's
too.
really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. But those are the perks of sitting at the bar, right? Would you ever guess what type of liquor is in that?
I don't know, but this smells smoky. It looks like there's salt in there.
It's Scotch.
It's Scotch?
Scotch is the base liquor in that cocktail.
Really?
Bartenders are just chefs who use liquid.
I
You know what
I took a sip, and then I took another one, and it tasted different to the others. What's happening here?
Are you going to put it on the menu for
That's
the summer?
smoke in there?
Yeah.
Oh,
See? Now you've tried something before anybody else even knows that it could be on the menu,
dude, that's amazing.
right? You can come back here in the summer, and this is going to have a name. It's going to like have a description that you can read.
I like mine better, by the way.
It's a great cocktail. So super simple, like we were talking about. These anchovies are not going to be the same ones that we have on the bread. This is like your more classic, like the packed in oil ones, the jars that you see. A little bit higher quality, but like that same style of anchovy. Little rosemary, a proper tomato sauce, call it a day. Cheese, the sourdough crust, that's one thing that the chefs Chris and Mackenzie, something that they do really well here is obviously like their breads. For me, 1A pizza in the city. There's here, and then there's Anthony's for your classic Neapolitana style.
Right.
Those are like the two best pizzas you can get in the city, in my opinion. And then a little accoutrement. You got to get the chili oil for the heat, and then they do their house-made garlic sauce. That's more of a crust thing for me, but it's solid. So I always recommend one bite clean, and then you start adding whatever you want.
Oh, oh my God. This dough too is
Really nice, right? It's the thing about pizza, right? You can get a million different kinds, and some are going to be better than others. It all comes down to dough and sauce.
that's anchovy. That anchovy is insane.
Really, really powerful.
And then there's salt on top of it.
salt, a little bit of rosemary, and that's it.
You're joking.
Right?
That's real garlic.
Yeah.
Oh.
They make everything in house, right?
Like
It's not-
it tastes more real than real garlic. I don't know why people eat topping side up. I swear it's better just to flip it over and just put the flavor right on your tongue.
Okay. Try it just for you.
There's something wrong about that. I
It
hate
holds,
deep
right?
dish pizzas.
Yeah.
I hate deep dish pizza. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
It tastes
not
more
my favorite.
bread than pop topping.
100%. It's not even really a pizza, it's not it's
Mm.
like it's a pie.
It's a
Or like
cake.
tart.
Yeah. You can't see my feet right now, but I'm tap dancing away. I'm happy right now.
Did you try the chili oil?
Not yet. Oh, here we go. I thought there was ketchup for a second.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Yeah, right.
gonna put a good little healthy dose on there. That is so good.
Yeah.
One thing I hate about chili sauces is most of them that people make are painful. It's supposed to be a bloody flavor. That's what I'm talking about. Hashtag not a foodie. Mate, I have to say, this is the best pizza I've had in Ottawa. Hands down by far.
For sure.
I swear you're one of my best friends right now.
Food will do that to people, I'm telling you.
So, first of all, thank you so much for bringing me here. Why did you bring me here?
You asked me first what my favorite restaurant in the city is. The question I get asked a lot with what I do. And my answer is always the same. It's, well, that depends on a lot of things. What's the vibe? What's the place? Like, what are we looking for in terms of like atmosphere? There's a lot of variables that go into this. And then you asked me a follow-up question. You said, what restaurant do you feel most at home at? And I immediately thought of this place. I've been to a lot of restaurants in the city, especially like through my work and my content and my writing and all of that. But here, people make the place, right? So it helps, obviously, the food's good, the cocktails are great. I worked here for a little while. But whenever I come here, I feel like I'm at home. I see so many familiar faces, so many people that I can chat with. We can talk about our lives and more than just like work and what's on a menu and things of that nature. It's, yeah, I'm coming here to eat and hang out. But this is where I come back to. There's a million restaurants in the city to choose from, and so many that I haven't tried yet that I still want to try. This is where I come back to when I'm like, I just need to feel comfortable.
How did you become an Ottawa foodie influencer? What's the story there?
Definitely. So I've always like loved food. I've always worked in the industry, mostly front of house, but I did a little bit of back of house stuff. I was a private chef, like just towards like just after COVID, things of that, kind of keeping myself on my feet. But what I really loved was the idea of culture, connectivity, and storytelling. I loved what Anthony Bourdain did specifically, like many of us do. And I wanted to find a way to continue to work with the industry without working in the industry. Being on this side of the bar instead of that side of the bar. It was a bit of a slow grind, but I'm a firm believer in things going to fall into place the way that they're supposed to, right? This is something I care about. I'm trying to change a narrative in the city of Ottawa.
Yes.
People look at it as this place that is worth visiting to come and eat and drink and find entertainment. We've always been known as the city fun forgot. And that is an old bullshit, like, mantra that we've been given. It's a title the city no longer deserves. We have so much amazing food, entertainment, an art scene, bars, restaurants, the whole thing. And it's all about changing people's mindsets about that, right? First, you start small, start in the middle, and that's changing the minds of the people who actually live here. Mm-hmm. And this series that I've done, the best of series that a lot of people know me for, I call it like a base, like it's kind of like a home base. Mm-hmm. It is something that will reach a lot of people. It's super simple, super baseline, and starts to do the job. But for me, the long-term goal is the storytelling. It's the people behind the restaurants, their passions, why they decided to do the thing that they did in the city that makes the city so great. Because people connect with that. Like we were saying before, you can go anywhere and eat and drink and have a good time. But how do you connect with those places? Food is the only universal language. No matter what your religion is, your creed, your culture, no matter what language you speak, the first thing that somebody does when they're welcoming you somewhere is offer you something to eat and something to drink. And the nuance of that is what makes things fun and exciting and new. And that's what Ottawa's doing now. We have so much nuance. From high-end cocktail bars to the lowest, like, cheapest hole-in-the-wall sandwich spot to Asian food to Italian food to, like, you know, and all the sets, right? We have Korean, we have Japanese, we have Mexican food and different, like, Venezuelan and Colombian spots. There's a fine dining Peruvian restaurant just up the road from here, right? You can find it all if you're willing to look for it. Mm. The next step is convincing people they no longer have to look for it, right? It's here. So the outskirts cities, people in Kingston, people in like the Valley, coming into Ottawa specifically for those things, then that leads to, okay, people are going to visit us the same way they do Montreal or Toronto. We're not as big as a market as they are, but we're punching in the same weight class, and not a lot of people understand that. You can come get a 40-course tasting menu with molecular gastronomy as the background in Ottawa for like $250 a head.
I didn't understand any of that, but that sounds cool.
The point I'm making is that the things that people say you can't get here, you can.
Yeah,
they're just
they don't know.
Yeah, right. It's all about education at this point, and a lot of these restaurants, it's about education from their standpoint as well. Like, you're not going to walk into a Le Poisson Bleu on Somerset and understand right away necessarily why a chef would turn trout into a sausage. But when you eat it,
what?
Yeah, Alex works with dry aging fish. Super cool, super unique.
Fish sausage.
Fish sausage, one of the most amazing things I've ever eaten. Taking a loin of tuna, dry aging it, curing it, and basically turning it into a bacon that you can then put into a poutine.
That's crazy.
It's insane, but
I want to try that so hard.
It's amazing, right? And people don't associate Ottawa with like a place that you can get things like that, and it's my job my self-given job to change those minds. The amount of times that I would see a comment on one of my videos of somebody being like, I've lived here for 10 years. I've never heard of any of these restaurants. We've never really had the support from the city or Ottawa tourism, like up until now, to really push those narratives. And I think there's a bit of a restriction when you talk about government and being in a government town. But me as an individual, I have no restrictions other than my own mind and who's willing to work with me. Right?
That's so good.
That's it. I can go into any
The only restriction is in your mind.
And well, what do I care about? How do I show people why it's worth caring, like why it's worth them caring about it as well? Right? My biggest passion, and that's not specific to Ottawa,
Yeah.
but I was fortunate enough to come to this city and realize that it's a place that needed them. You don't need someone to tell you why it's interesting to go to New York. You don't need someone to tell you why it's interesting to go to Los Angeles or Vancouver or Barcelona. Like, it's just a well-known fact. What we need right now is to convince people, why is it interesting to go to Ottawa? A place that is literally called the City Fund for God. That is considered this boring, sleepy government town. But then in the same breath, I can turn around and say, trout sausage, 10 minutes from here.
Yeah.
You know, I can say, solid pizza in an old stripped ice cream building, done in like a coastal Italian style. I can say 40-course tasting menu. I can say Indian chef's table tasting menu for $170 a head. For an 8-course tasting menu, that's nothing.
Yeah.
And when you talk about Indian food, like, that's something that we all grew up on as takeout food. To take that risk and show like, hey, this is a culture that you can elevate, that you can take these dishes from all corners of a country that maybe people don't understand as
And
well.
that
their
food
butter
culture
chicken.
in India is deep.
It's deep,
It's deep.
right? It's not just butter chicken and penny puri. Like, there's a lot to it. And you can now go sit at a bar like this one, and with every dish, the chef comes out with a story about how the dish was created, what part of India it's from, why they put it on the menu, at a very like affordable to everybody kind of price point.
Let's go.
It's crazy.
That's amazing, man. I love that. And like that, like again, that's so genuine and so real. And like, I think the thing that people miss, especially, you know, like it's easy to miss, but especially when you're trying to be an influencer and whatever, it's the stories.
Yeah.
It's the story about behind why people are doing what they're doing. Like, how do people connect with a song a little more? You tell them the story and it becomes their story.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I went through that
Relate to it
too.
personally.
You know, and it's like, but also when you hear those stories of people that started a restaurant or where they came from and how, like, you know, it's like there's something inside you that might resonate with that person to be like, shit, I might go for whatever that thing is that I'm passionate about too, you know? I consider myself a very passionate person, just to be a conversational narcissist right now, but like when I see that in other people, that's the kind of people I want to be around. You know what I mean? And like you just went for it. You just went for it, bro. Like, I love that.
Here we go. Hell yeah. Thank you, sir.
That's trippy. I ain't never had anything like that.
We got chocolate soft serve, Aurelius olive
Like
oil.
just regular ass chocolate syrup.
Yep. Olive oil, that's going to give you like mouthfeel.
It's the
different
olive
texture.
oil.
Malden salt, and then the Amaro.
Olive oil on ice cream. That is delicious.
It's like it's super common in Italy to do this. But it's,
I've never heard of it.
yeah, it's not something you see very often here, but it's,
Put olive oil on it.
yeah, honestly, put olive oil in your ice cream. Go home.
Scratch your knee, put olive oil on
Put
it.
olive oil. Yeah, exactly.
Like, this has been one of the coolest like things I've done.
When we came here, I said bread, pizza, and ice cream. And like, like, you know what that is, right? But every single time you have a bite, it's, what is this?
Well, if you want to reduce it to that, honestly, this has been one of the coolest experiences I've ever
I'm glad you like it.
had. Like, I've never eaten or enjoyed food in this way. Like,
Experiences like this are all over the city, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. Because your reaction right here is what I want everybody to be able to have. I want you to show up to a place,
this guy.
all unassuming, thinking you're going out for like a meal, and then all of a sudden you end up with a story, you end up with something that you never would have thought of before, and this scratches the itch in the brain that makes you want to go to the next spot. That's like, if you just eat the same way that your whole life, then it doesn't mean anything to you. But as soon as you sit down and you're like, what is this? How do I feel this feeling? It's almost like chasing a dragon. It's like, how do I feel this feeling again?
You know what I'm sad about? Is that the next time I do this, it's not going to be the first time. Do you ever have, like, are you okay with people hitting you up
Yeah.
saying, can I come and eat with you?
Oh, I've never had that happen, but I am okay with that.
Okay, because this has been a experience right now, and like, dead set, like, I can't say that this has been so cool, man.
I
It's been
feel
such
the
a
same
cool
way.
experience.
Appreciate you having-
Especially if you're not a foodie
Yeah.
and you want to do something
change
cool,
your mind.
come hang out with this guy and like,
No, I appreciate you having me on.
to have this be one of my first episodes, like, dude, man, it's so freaking cool, man. Like, dead set, like, I'm tripping right now. I'm freaking happy.
Yeah.
Let's get some Amaro.
Get some fun.
Can I be honest? You know what? The first whiff, even the whiff now, it smells like the dentist.
Yeah, the menthol, like you said, you're gonna get on the.
Oh, it's menthol.
There is mint in it, right? There's mint. There's gentian root, which is like the main flower that they use in a lot of Amaros. Juniper, like obviously super common, like people know it from like gin, that like piney flavor. This is definitely like, this leans more like your medicinal style Amaros. I really like it 'cause I like that bitter.
This smells very hygienic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's right. Honestly, I close my eyes. I'm in the dentist chair. They got that suction thing in my mouth. I can smell the rubber floors in there. It smells so good. I don't mean this in a bad way at all. This smells delicious. And now that I've tasted it, I'm getting like some aromatic sort of. I don't know what's in there.
And if super bitter isn't your thing, like there is like the Montenegro, which leans sweeter. You still get that little bit of bitter, but it's more on the, this is going a little bit further into that like traditional Italian Amaro, where you get that like bitter.
Yo, this lemon skin? What the heck?
Yeah, so it's just like eating, right? Like your nose does all the work first. So when you get like the oils from the...
I'm not doing this. Hashtag not a foodie. This is really, I'm liking this.
It's the same thing you put like an orange peel in an old fashioned, right? Like you spritz it around the edge of the glass, so that your first thing you get is the nose.
Is that what I gotta do?
So yeah, like I'll do it on mine just to show you. Literally, so like the lemon peel has all of the oils in it. So when you spritz it,
Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. I'm doing it the inside.
you see it like really commonly with like a flame, a lighter, and you use the spritz to like light the edge of the glass, and it just makes it like really fragrant.
Really?
And now when you go in, you got that menthol. Now you're gonna get lemon.
Oh,
Like right on the nose, the first thing you're gonna get is lemon.
Oh.
And then you're gonna change the flavor too.
Mate, I like that. Well, cheers, bro. Like, that's the end of Sound Bites with, how do you say your last name?
Pizzuti.
Pizzuti. Jordan Pizzuti. He's the man. If you're coming to Ottawa, if you want to come to Ottawa, hit him up. Have an experience like none other. Like I just had.
I
This is
appreciate it.
incredible, man.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you so much. And digestif, right?
Yes, Steve. Exactly. After the meal.
After the meal. Wow.